Hi, I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about parenting and good communication and how to build strong family bonds through the lens of the principle self-government. And in this video, we're going to be talking about how to teach a kid to be grateful. We live in an ungrateful world right now. Sometimes when you have too many things, you just become selfish and ungrateful. In this video, we need to talk about what to do about it. So we're going to be talking about the situation that we have at hand with ingratitude and our children, and some key things that you can do in your family to promote an environment of gratitude. So why do we have such an ingratitude problem? Well, one of the reasons is because we have so many things. Honestly, everything is at our fingertips. You're watching YouTube right now. Hello? You can learn anything you want just about that fast. We hardly have to work for anything anymore. Because of that, we expect instead of showing gratitude. Sometimes I look at some of the modern inventions and conveniences around me. Sometimes I look at my phone and what I can do on my phone to run my business, and I think, what would my great-grandmother think about today? She would be blown away. She would never think you could have a phone in your pocket and drive around with it and it could work, let alone you can access your bank, order your products, talk to your people, make posts about stuff, do videos, all the things. She would never think that. If she could do even one of those things, she would be so grateful. I remember hanging out with my great-grandmother and my grandparents and hearing them talk about the wows of technology. I remember my grandma and my grandpa Gundry saying, "Look at the computer. Look what it can do. This is incredible." When the computers were these big things, big boxes, and they couldn't even do that much, especially compared to now. They couldn't even access the internet yet, but they were amazed at what they could do at that time. They were like, there's going to come a day where people don't even buy typewriters anymore. And here I thought we were lucky to have an electric typewriter. I still remember my mother typing when I was a little girl on a typewriter that was not an electric typewriter, and her wishing that she could have an electric typewriter. Amazing, right? And so I'm grateful for all the things around me too. But it's really easy to lose sight of the past, to forget how things began when we were young, to forget that this technological age is actually still a new thing. It's easy to forget. And that's because life moves so fast. And technology is promoted, in fact, to the point that if you don't have enough technology, you simply cannot keep up in the world. So I do think technology is one of the key things that's actually making us selfish and impatient, because we can do so many things so quickly. When a person has to be patient for something, when they have to wait for that special dress, when they have to wait to get that toy at Christmas, when they have to wait, that actually makes them grateful. So I know a young man who said, when I was young, I didn't have a lot of toys and stuff. We just didn't have room for it in our house. Our house was small. So I would go out in the yard and I would play with a stick. We had sticks, we had rocks, and I would do things with them. I would pretend with them, And he loved his childhood. He had a great childhood. He loved his family. And now that he has a child and he's getting his child all these little things, and he's like, boy, I never had all of these things, and this is kind of amazing that I can get these things for my child, but I don't know if this actually is healthy. And to his point, I'm not 100% sure if it is healthy to give a person every single thing all the time. But it's hard because we advertise everything and the world is so enticing. So this is where we find ourselves. The children see all the new little gadgets. The stores are full of merchandise and new things come out all the time. This makes us very ungrateful. And to boot, we have greater health than we ever did before because we've got all of the innovations in medical, and we understand how our bodies work so well. So nutritionally, we're taking better care of ourselves. We're exercising better. I mean, look at me. I've lost 100 pounds in the last couple of years. We are doing so many great things because we are knowing so much more. But sometimes when you start learning a lot more and when you start applying more of that knowledge, you actually forget to be grateful that you have the knowledge in the first place. So all things come from somewhere. Where is that? We're going to talk about where that is and how to create an environment where children can be more grateful. But first, what are you grateful for? Do you see that chat down below this video? What are you grateful for? Or what do you notice that people are not grateful for that they should be grateful for? In fact, I'm really excited to see what types of answers might be in the chat on this video, because I think there are many things that we should be grateful for that we are not, that we just don't consider. So where does everything come from anyway? I'm a God-fearing person, and I truly believe that the Lord has given us everything for our happiness. Sure, over the years and years, of the history of this world, it's rolled out bit by bit. But my goodness, every time a person's crops grow, every time they can find clean water to drink, He is the reason, right? Every time we have a house to live in, He is the reason. And so for me, I feel like everything I see around me turns my heart back toward Him. And isn't that truly where the root of gratitude is? To be grateful for a person is to be grateful for their greatness. But in the end, everything came from God. And so for me, it all goes back to Him. Now I know for you, that may be just over the top for you, and that's okay if it is, but I've got to be honest about myself. The more and more I get to know God and love God and follow Him and His counsel for me, the more I love everyone around me, the more I'm grateful for all the things I have. When I drive down the road and I see the mountains in the distance covered with snow, I'm grateful for the snow, for the water that we'll have, and I'm grateful for the mountains too. So how do I help my children then find this same gratitude? Well, the first thing you do is express your gratitude out loud. So often we feel gratitude for things, but we don't actually say it. We might think, oh, that was really nice, but we don't say it. And when we drive down the road and we see a sunset, we don't say, look at that sunset. Look at those pretty colors. Those are different, more vivid colors than I usually see. Oh, I'm so grateful I got to see that today. What if we engaged in the world like every day was our last? What would you see if every day was metaphorically your last? If you didn't know if you would have this day again, because indeed you don't. My mother said to me, Nicholeen, when I travel with you, I see everything. And I'm like, of course you do. I'm not going to go to Alaska and not see the Northern Lights. I'm not going to go to Cincinnati and not see the Cincinnati Reds Stadium. I'm not going to go to Fort Worth, Texas and not see the Longhorn Cattle and the longest indoor rodeo. I'm not going to do it. I am going to see the things and do the things. And if I don't have the money, I'm going to figure out what I can see and do without the money. But I am going to go and I'm going to do it because I am grateful for all of it, that I get to be there, even if it's there to speak at a conference. I'm so grateful I get to be there. And you know what else I do because I'm grateful? I talk to people. When I'm somewhere in another place, I make eye contact, I smile, and I try to, without annoying anyone, talk to people, strike up conversation. Because I'm grateful that they're there. This is all something that you do that shows your children what matters in life. The people, the sunset, the moment, the gratitude. That is how you teach gratitude more than anything else. Now, beyond that, don't overload your children with too many things. Let them work for some of the things. Let them hope for a few things. That also builds gratitude. It teaches them that good things come to those who wait, and that waiting is in and of itself a principle. Delayed gratification is something that leads a person to success. Successful people always have to wait for the next step, the next moment, the next success. It's the people who aren't successful who don't know how to wait. They feel like everything should come to them instantly or they better not try. Another thing that you can do as a family, and this is something that I love that families do. I have a great friend who does this. I did not do it. I'm going to say I did not do it as a family. We did it probably a few times. I have this friend that every night at dinner, they sit around the table and they always talk about what they're grateful for. They talk about something that happened that they didn't like for the day. Just one. And then they talk about 3 things they're grateful for. And they go around the table and everybody talks about their 1 piece of bad news and their 3 things that they're grateful for that day. So what is the focus? The gratitude. And the children are going throughout the day and they are expressing gratitude in their hearts because they're collecting ideas for dinner that night. Now here's another thing I do. Praise. You should praise your children 6 to 10 times for every 1 time that you correct them. When you praise a person, you are expressing your gratitude to that person. You're showing them their value in your eyes. This teaches them to be grateful to you and to other people too. So praise should be part of your family culture. Have your culture be optimistic, not pessimistic, and focus on the good things that people do. Another thing that we've done in our family is we have decided that we would make it an important thing to have regular family gatherings. So not only do we eat dinner together, but we also had family activities together on a weekly basis, at least once a week, where we would do things together. And we would spend time enjoying each other's company. Not watching a show, but I mean doing something, like really doing something. And then we also would have family meetings where we would discuss as a family how we're going to run the legislation in our house, which decisions that we want to make as a family together. And that also helped my children appreciate this family dynamic, appreciate me consulting them on things. Here's the other thing too, talks. Regular talks with your children. Make sure you have good open communication. Don't waste a car ride with just meaningless music in the background. Talk about things. Have it be a time where you can express your feelings toward them and your positive feelings about other people, as well as expressing gratitude for the things that you see around them. Gratitude is contagious. Gratitude is the seed of love. Children can learn gratitude in simple environmental ways, and it is parents who teach it. And if you expose them to media that does not show gratitude, you might be undermining all the work you are doing. So be careful about that too. Read them good stories. Grateful stories. I highly recommend Lamplighter Theater, Lamplighter books. Those teach stories of character and gratitude and self-control, the things that our children need to feel powerful in the world. I hope that your children become different people because you have decided what you're grateful for. Right now, write down at least 2 things that you are grateful for, and I want you to promise yourself you will explain why you're grateful for those things to your children. And if you have to, put them in the chat, okay? Just type them in the chat right now if you don't have anything else to write on. Tell your family why you're grateful. Let that conversation go to the next level of gratitude, which is how you're grateful for them too. If you've enjoyed this video about gratitude, I'm quite sure that you will love my next video, which is all about disagreeing appropriately, which is a very grateful way to have disagreements and one of the 4 basic skills of self-government. So if you go to full class about disagreeing appropriately, then you can learn that valuable skill, which can hopefully help you communicate with even more gratitude in your home.